Leeds United at what we call the Emirates Stadium. 5 goals, I repeat, 5 goals to nil for the club of Arsenal, and it was a total humiliation at the Emirates Stadium. But those that really went ahead to watch in the match preview, I told you everything, didn't I? I told you everything, that Arsenal is obviously going to be coming up and obviously destroy the side of Leeds at the Emirates. Smash like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is the name, and we're here to bring you the latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned here onto this beautiful channel of ours, and hope you guys are really having fun. Arsenal fans, I know you are jubilating everywhere because you came into this game of football when Man City had gone ahead to be beaten by Tottenham Hotspur. And I know most of you are really posing a question: who is on top of the league? Who is on top of the league? And you know who is really there? It's none other than Arsenal, as we're obviously going to be breaking this down to the fullest to see to it that we really have a very great time together onto this beautiful channel of ours. Now, Arsenal came into this particular fixture in a very, very fired up mode altogether. Why? They came to Old Trafford and they went ahead to win by 1-0. You understand? And after winning that beautiful game, Arsenal was all over the place. And I think the best reward you could give to yourself is come home and really beat Leeds, because it didn't make, it didn't make any sense if at all you went ahead and obviously beat a side of Manchester United, and you come at Leeds and you find yourself in a position of really losing the game. So, as it stands, the club of Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously gate everything out of their way, and they're like, we are putting these match goals against Leeds United. For example, if you know what happened last season, Arsenal wasn't scoring enough goals. They were really scoring 1, 2, and though they had in those 5 goals, but I think this 5-goal tally has gone ahead to come in so much early into the season. You can as well come to me and really agree with me. But Arsenal came into this game of football, and this is how it transpired. In the 34th minute, it was Julian Timber, again from a set piece. He buried that ball into the back of the net. And by the way, Leeds had obviously gone ahead, make it hard for them to obviously break through and really score that goal. But Declan Rice, he's the king of set piece deliveries at the club of Arsenal. And when he's on the pitch and Arsenal really gets a set piece, you have to worry, because I think he is the boss. He's the best ball deliverer into the mixer. You understand? And in that mixer, he has always gone ahead to do justice to Arsenal. And in the first 2 games, Arsenal has gone ahead to score 3 set-piece goals. And looks like they are still onto the chapter they were on last season, and the season of 2023-2024. That took the corners that Arsenal has gone ahead to score to 32. That goal of Julian Timber that really came in through in the 34th minute took Arsenal to that level in there. So, after that goal, Leeds were like, all right, let's hold in a little bit and not allow Arsenal to obviously go through us. But that was really inevitable, because Bukayo Saka was obviously released by Julian Timber and went ahead to obviously hit that ball at the back of the net using his weak right foot before Bukayo Saka went ahead to obviously get an injury. So I'm obviously going to be talking about the injuries, but we're here to obviously first talk about the goals. Then second half ended 2-0 in favor of the club of Arsenal, and the moment that everyone has been waiting for went ahead to happen. Viktor Gyokeres was released hugely into the half of the opponent and went ahead and obviously ran, and the beauty of him is that he skipped past 3 players and boom, into the back of the net to make it 3-0 for the club of Arsenal in the 48th minute, meaning that 3 minutes into the second half, Arsenal went ahead to kill off the game. As I've already told you, the best and worst result to end first half in is always a 2-0 lead, because that 2-0 lead will call in for one, you to score a third one to obviously show your opponent that the tie is done. And if you don't, and it's still 2-0 for some minutes, if he pulls one back, you know the pressure that comes with it. So that was the worst and best result at halftime for Arsenal. And when they came in through, they were like, we won't give Leeds any hopes of really coming in through and really putting in a shift. He went ahead and obviously scored the third goal. But the manner in which he scored it is really very, very prolific of a striker. You know, the risk he did, you know, he really chopped inside, you know, and that first chop that he made, he skipped past two players. And no sooner had he skipped past those two players than he really saw a third player coming in through, and he added an extra touch. And that extra touch did two things. It was taking off the third player and setting that ball for a shot. And he really took that shot into what we call the lower left corner, right? The lower right corner. And that's how things went ahead to happen for the side of Viktor Gyokeres. And everyone was like, he has gone ahead to arrive, and he really went ahead to make his mask celebration for the very first time in the Premier League. So that is a player known as Viktor Gyokeres. He came in through and really put in a very huge shift in there, and he represented to the fullest. And I was like, yeah, where are the haters? You know, people are starting to ridicule the man that in the game of Manchester United, he had more touches in the hair than the ones he really had on the ball. You know, when Viktor Gyokeres is really playing football, he's always touching his hair, and they're like, you had more touches on your hair than on the ball. And he was like, all right, I'll come, I represent, and when I represent, you guys will all be left in shock. And that's exactly what he did in there at the club of Arsenal. And what a way to start your Premier League campaign when you're really scoring this beautiful goal at the Emirates. And you all know the chance that really went ahead to go down at the stadium of Emirates, and it all went in a huge buzz. And that is Viktor Gyokeres for you, scoring the first goal for the club of Arsenal. And he really did the needful. And guess what? He was really one of those players that the world really went to understand about and how good he is. So the haters, where are you? You know, where are you? And by the way, in my match preview, I predicted that Arsenal will obviously take the win, and Viktor Gyokeres will obviously have to score. I just saw to it that the lad was obviously going to be scoring that beautiful goal in there for you. So that is Viktor Gyokeres for you, scoring a very beautiful goal for the club of Arsenal, and really went ahead to put in a very huge shift that I really went ahead to love. And I'm like, yeah, that's my lad. And he really went ahead to obviously celebrate very well. And we are into the new era of Arsenal, and this lad will obviously cause problems to everyone who thinks that he is not gonna really make it. And it shows you why Andre Bartha told Arteta, let's not do the deal of Benjamin Sesko, let's do the deal of a player known as let's do a deal of a player known as let's do a deal of a player known as let's do a deal of a player known as Viktor Gyokeres. And after that goal from Viktor Gyokeres, get what went ahead to happen? Magic went ahead to happen through Julian Timber once again. It was another set piece for the club of Arsenal, and they were all over the place. I tell you what, Arsenal is a team that will obviously hit every team in set pieces. And you saw again how it really came up. Some people say it's all about the goalkeeper, but you know, this time round, all those set pieces really come through centrally. That is it. Last season, they used to run at the back post, and when Rice or Saka was really delivering the ball, they really came to the nearby post. Now, it's all about the mid post work that is really happening in there. They run in the middle of the goal or in the mouth of the goal. That's where all those set pieces are really taken, you know. And the goals, the set pieces that I've gone ahead to go in today have totally differed from the set piece they scored against Manchester United. You remember that of Manchester United, it was all about Saliba coming in through into the goalkeeper's vicinity. He really went ahead to obstruct him, and the ball went to the back post where Ricardo Carafiori was. Now this time round, they've gone ahead, obviously put in a different shift altogether, and guess what they've gone ahead to do? They've gone ahead, obviously, deliver that ball to the little bit of near post and in the mid of the goal, and you saw what will went ahead to happen in there. So that is the club known as Arsenal humiliating everyone who is the side of Arsenal or into the mix, as they obviously bring in those corners hugely into the mixer. So from there, obviously, there was a moment of magic. A moment of magic came in through from Max Dorman, and guess who was taken off? It was Noni Madueke who was taken off, and a player called Max Dorman went ahead to come in through. And 15 years of age, that is Max Dorman, Opta Joe, has gone ahead to obviously register this start for the young lad. You understand? And the start reads, let me flash it on the screen because you might say Rokani is really formulating his own stats. But guys, these are stats that are really proven, and you have no you don't have any other facts that can obviously go against them. These are proven facts in here onto the Rokani Media Football into the mix. Now, Max Dorman, right? Max Dorman. Arsenal's Max Dorman with 15 years and 235 days is just the third player to appear in the Premier League game before turning 16 years old. After teammate Ethan Nwaneri in September 2022, he made his debut at 15 years and 181 days. And Jeremy Monga for Leicester City versus Newcastle United in April, 15 years and 271 days. You know, so Max Dorman came on and represented to the fullest. He really saw exactly how he really went ahead to run the game. He's a generational talent, and to show you that he's really a special guy, he got Arsenal the penalty. Now, when he got Arsenal the penalty, it was the obvious. You understand? Because Bukayo Saka was really off. But we had already gone ahead to tell you that Arsenal had already gone ahead to make a decision on who is obviously going to be taking the penalties, and it was supposed to be Viktor Gyokeres, in order to obviously empower him and see to it that he scores more goals and really build or really work on his confidence as a player. So that's how Max Dorman went ahead to earn Arsenal a penalty. He was brought in and he was brought down. You understand? And when he was brought down in the 18 yards box area of the opponent, guess what happened? The referee pointed at the spot. And when he pointed at the spot, guess what happened? Viktor Gyokeres stood up to the occasion and went ahead to obviously score that penalty, and he made it 2-0. He made it 4-0 for the club of Arsenal, and that's how everything went ahead to happen. Arsenal fans were really jubilating all over, and they really went all over the place, and I think we all know why they really went ahead to do that. Arsenal. Those were the runs in the stadium for the club of Arsenal, as everything really went ahead to go down like that. No sooner had the penalty really got given by the referee than Viktor Gyokeres got hold of the ball, and Declan Rice was like, go kill it, my brother. Go kill it, my brother. And Arsenal are really having huge confidence into this player. According to how you've gone ahead to see them really treat him, the celebration, they're like, come in, and conquer the Premier League. You know, that is Viktor Gyokeres for you, getting hold of the ball. And after getting hold of the ball, guess what he did? He dispatched it into the back of the net to make it Arsenal, to make it Arsenal 4, Leeds United 0. Oh, he was making it 5. He was making it 5 for Arsenal and Leeds United 0. That is the lad for you. In the 92nd, let's say the 93rd minute, that's when he obviously went ahead to dispatch that, and he put that ball at the back of the net. Now, Viktor Gyokeres is now having 2 goals. You understand? And when you look at the Premier League, you understand? When you look at the Premier League fixture, Premier League top scorers, the Premier League goal scorers, this season, he really comes in thick and hard as a player to obviously represent to the fullest, and top scorers this season, you understand? At the beginning, we had a player known as Gyokeres, that is it. Then we had a player known as Erling Haaland, Gyokeres, you understand? So, today, when Gyokeres scored 2 goals, he goes into that big tally of all players who really have 2 goals, because every player in the Premier League has 2 goals. Let's wait and see what tomorrow really brings on the table as other teams really go ahead and really compete. Timber has 2 goals, 1 assist, and obviously he has done that in 2 games. Richarlison has 2 goals, 1 assist in 2 games. Anton Semenyo has 2 goals, 1 assist in 2 games. Chris Wood, has 2 goals, 0 assists, and 1 game played. Viktor Gyokeres has 2 goals, 0 assists, and that has happened in 2 games. Brian Johnson, 2 goals, 0 assists in 2 games. Erling Haaland, 2 games, 0 assists, 2 goals. And remember my prediction before the season really came to start. This is what I told you. I came up and told you that we are going to see Viktor Gyokeres compete for the boot. And I told you the winner of the Golden Boot is in between Viktor Gyokeres and a player known as Erling Haaland. I know they're obviously going to be toe-to-toe in there. The rest of the players are really having 1-1 goal, and that is how Viktor Gyokeres has gone ahead, obviously put himself into a perfect position to obviously go ahead and do the needful. So Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously score that, and the margin was really very, very important. Now let's go to what we call the stats of the game and see how Arsenal went ahead to hugely dominate this fixture at the Emirates. You understand? Where is it? All right. 18 shots by Arsenal, Leeds had 3. 5 shots by Arsenal, Leeds had 1. 68% ball possession by Arsenal, 32% ball possession by Leeds. 559 passes completed by Arsenal. Leeds completed 290 passes, 91% passing accuracy by Arsenal. Then Leeds had 75% passing accuracy. 8 fouls by the side of Arsenal. 11 fouls by the side of Leeds. 0 yellow cards to Arsenal. 2 yellow cards to the side of Leeds. No red cards issued to either sides, right? Then 0 offsides to both sides. 2 corners to the side of Arsenal and 2 corners to the side of Leeds. That's how things will went ahead to happen in there for you. So the Premier League table comes in through as Arsenal really takes the top spot. Arsenal has gone ahead to play 2 games, 2 wins. They've gone ahead to keep 2 clean sheets, and they really have a goal difference of 6, and they're really having 6 points. Spursy comes in through 2 games played, 2 wins, and they're having 6 points. They've gone ahead to score 5 goals. Chelsea, 2 games played, 4 goals and 4 points. Liverpool, 1 game played. They're really playing today. Man City lost its first game of the season to Tottenham Hotspur, and it was 2 games, and they're having 3 points. Nottingham Forest has played 1 game. We wait to see which other teams can come in through and really join that race of really having another 3 points added to obviously see that they can obviously dislodge Arsenal from the table. Amongst those teams, there is Nottingham Forest, if at all they win, and really wins with a good margin. Liverpool, if at all they win with a good margin. I think the rest of the teams that really had 3 points have gone to draw or really lose badly. And if you're a Leeds fan, I don't see any reason as to why you should obviously feel like it never went your way. Because if you lose to Arsenal, I don't find it any bad or any worse to come out and really put in a gloomy face, because you are Leeds and you're a Leeds fan, and you don't expect obviously coming through and obviously win. You understand, at the Emirates, if at least Arsenal was at the Elland Road, you would have gone ahead to say 5-0 is really worse, but we would have gone ahead obviously get the win, or a draw, or lose by a margin of like 1 goal or 2 goals. But as it stands right now, the club of Arsenal is all over the place, and I'm telling you this. Losing to Arsenal is not news, is not news to the side of Leeds. And the good thing is that they went ahead to beat Everton by 1-0. Now, what Leeds has to do to survive in the league, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, those teams, and Man City, those 5 teams, look at them like those are really already gone points. Start looking at teams like Bournemouth, Burnley, Sunderland. Those are teams that you should plan to obviously take some good points from the side of Arsenal. Sorry, from that side. You understand? So Arsenal's going to have to put 5 past Leeds, and it was really very, very, very bad. The other point I have to talk about is the clean sheet that Arsenal's going to have to keep, and it's a second clean sheet in a row. And I tell you that Arsenal had always gone ahead to keep more clean sheets away from home than at home, but this time round they are balancing up the board. They've gone ahead to obviously keep a clean sheet away from home against Man United 1-0, and they came in through to see to it that they really keep another clean sheet at the Emirates. And there is, I think, one threatening save that was really made by David Raya. It was a header, and David Raya went ahead obviously put in a very huge shift in there for you. So I think let them keep it burning as a club of Arsenal, and nothing is obviously going to be stopping them from really clinching the top spots like everyone wishes them to be in there for you. So that's Arsenal for you, and that's how everything really went down at the side of Emirates. Hero comes in through to obviously say City. Let's talk about City a little bit. Now, Man City today came into this game of football and they really found themselves beaten by the side of Tottenham Hotspur. In the match preview I did much earlier, I had given City a 2-1 win against Spurs, but there are things I really went ahead to obviously tell you that City has to look at. Tottenham Hotspur is one of the teams that has been that bogey team to the side of City at Emirates and at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Even last season, you saw to it that they came at the Etihad and they really beat City badly. 4 goals, I think, were they 4, and the man that engineered all that was James Maddison, who was really missing in action today because of the injury he really went ahead to get as a player for the club of Spursy. And that is Spurs. Very bogey team for every manager who has obviously gone ahead, obviously be at Spurs in the past 8 years, has seen himself beat Tottenham, has seen himself beat Man City. Now, let's go to the manager of City. Sorry, that's manager of Tottenham Hotspur, Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank was a manager of Brentford and really had a blueprint at Brentford to obviously come and really beat City always. So, when you bring in a manager who was at Brentford and always made it hard for City to play and really collect 3 points, and you bring him at a team that has been one of the most bogey teams that has lost to Spurs a lot, in the recent past, that had not lost to Man City in the recent past, guys, the equation was added well in the match preview that City has to obviously take note of this. And when you look at the goals that City went ahead to concede, the first one, that high line of City was really beaten, and that's what Thomas Frank really went ahead to come in through. And he's really a surprising guy. When you think that he's obviously going to be sitting there throughout this game, he's like, the second goal that you're going to score is obviously going to be speaking a different language altogether. And what was the language that second goal went ahead to read? You know, it was a high press. I tell you, it was a high press. You know, it was a very huge high press, I tell you. The high press was really huge, and it really went ahead to make some huge rounds in there for you. And guess what the result was? The goalkeeper ended up gifting that ball to Richarlison, and I think Richarlison did some touch, and then I think that's when Paulinho, is it Paulinho? Went ahead to obviously strike that ball into the back of the net. You understand? So City really looked not okay, though they really put up some forces in the attack, but looks like it wasn't their day. And it's not news City losing to Spurs. That is it. It's not news. It's not news. City losing to Spurs. But if you're a City fan, this has gone ahead to come in early. Those are 2 games so far done, and those are games that you can obviously try to really re-energize and re-strategize for your team as City, and see to it that City goes ahead to obviously become a problem to most of the teams in there. With the return of Rodri, I saw Phil Foden is back. So I think Man City are yet to obviously continue winning games, because at least we know that this side of Pep Guardiola has obviously gone ahead, obviously plan a very good team in there for you. Now, City obviously know what is coming after this game. City is going to be playing against Brighton away. Another hard game for them, but it will obviously suit the equation, and I think that City will obviously do the needful. For Arsenal, they are going to be playing away at Anfield, I think. Not so. Arsenal is going to be taking everything to Anfield and see whether they can obviously tussle out with Liverpool. And Arsenal goes at Anfield with more injuries. You understand? That is on Sunday 31st. Remember, Odegaard really got a shoulder injury in the second half, right? Sorry, in the first half, and was taken off. Ethan Nwaneri came on and really took on the challenge. Then the other player that really got injured was Saka. And all those injuries are really worrying, you know, but they are not going to be worrying as they were last season, because last season when you lose Odegaard, you are like, who will obviously coming through? When you lose Saka, you are really very worried. But this time round, you saw that Noni Madueke went ahead and replayed as a right forward, and he put in his best performances of the game when he played as a right forward. You can all agree with me. Then Ebelechi Eze was unveiled as an Arsenal player into that particular game of football, and it really went ahead to look on very, very, very nice and well. So that's all what really happened at the side of Emirates. I think I've gone ahead to tackle every attribute. Julian Timber with a brace and an assist. I've already told you he's one of the best players in the world, and now, having gone ahead to score a set piece against Manchester United last season, this season, he has gone ahead to score a brace of set pieces or corners into one game. He's really going to be one of the most influential players for the club of Arsenal. And how influential is he going to be? If that's your question, look at how he creates that second goal for Bukayo Saka. Finding those line-breaking passes into the mixer for a player to obviously shoot at goal and really score was really very important in there for you. So Arsenal now has gone ahead to score 6 goals in 2 games, and we know more is really coming. With Gyokeres, confidence built to that level, going to Anfield, I think all will be okay. I think the chance that Liverpool fans had gone ahead to prepare for Viktor Gyokeres, that you've had more touches in your head or in your hair than on the ball, have gone ahead to change, and now he's going there commanding huge respect as a player. So Hero, I think I've gone ahead to obviously break it down for you. For Man City, hard luck, but that's the game of football. But the season is still so early. The season is still so early, and if there is anything wrong that you would like to happen to your team, it should happen now. Why should it happen now? Because it's even what we call the pre-season that the window is still open until the 1st of September. Those are 8 days to go. The season is still open. So this is where you should obviously be doing all what you want to do. For any mistake, there is room for correction. But if the summer transfer window really closes in, obviously you'll be like, what is obviously going to be happening? And for City, they need to obviously rectify the right back position. I don't know whether the manager has gone ahead to settle with Rico Lewis and a player called Nunez, but I think they should bring in a right back. Like you see Altri Nori do his magic. I think this is where City should really concentrate more on. Let's go into the comment section. I think I've gone here to talk a lot about City. But remember, guys, you can as well become a member of this channel by clicking the join button. When you look at that, when you look at the right, is it the right left bottom corner after the word subscribe, there is a button called join. You can become a member of this channel. It's just $1 every month that you're supposed to obviously put in to be a member. I'm really planning some exclusive content for the members of this channel, and you can support this channel by obviously becoming a member, and that is it. So you can as well buy super chats for this specific live stream, and that's another way of really showing your support to the channel. Now, Honorable Daniel says, watching from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you for watching it from my brother. Musasizi Godfrey, brother, it's only me and you who never judged Gyokeres. If he gets more chances, he may outscore Haaland even. And one thing you should know about this lad known as Gyokeres, the first chance was not a clear and open chance. It was what we call a half chance that he turned into a full chance by really scoring a goal. Because even if he went ahead to miss that goal, would you guys have gone ahead to blame him? You know? And I think the other clear-cut chance he got was when Zubimendi went ahead to press and they lost the ball and he tried to take it instantly. He never really had his side mirrors on to scan whether he has someone in his back or not. You know, that is exactly how things really went down for the side of Gyokeres. But I know that every striker thrives on really getting chances. And when you look at Arsenal, on average, they get like 8 penalties, 6, 7, 8 penalties. And now, I think those penalties are really going to increase because you have Max Dorman, who can come off the bench and really cause havoc. Like, we're going to hate to see him today. It's not accidental that he's getting penalties for Arsenal. You saw even in the preseason, Max Dorman came in through, represented to the fullest, and guess what will happen? Guess what happened? He won Arsenal penalties. I think there is one that Odegaard took, and I think against Newcastle he won them a penalty, and against which other team he won them a penalty? That is Max Dorman. You understand? So the lad is that special and talented. I have my friend on as Fikma on TikTok. Is like, I see him as a Madweke, and for me and him really disagree a lot on it. He says he's not that special kind of player, and I'm like, the lad is special. He's special. And one time, I'll obviously bring him in here to obviously have a discussion with you about that. But Arsenal is getting more penalties, and you see to it that in the way they're obviously playing, you know, in the way they obviously get playing, right? Arsenal hasn't obviously gone ahead to get into what we call the full mod, you know, but they're really trying to really use the season to really get together and really add the dots to obviously get the best result in there for you. But Gyokeres is obviously gonna be a very threatening guy to obviously stop every person that thinks, or silence every person that thinks he can't obviously do the needful. Outscoring Haaland, you know, I really hinted about it that the golden boot is between Haaland and Gyokeres. If Isak had sorted his problems well with the team of Newcastle and either went to Liverpool early enough or stayed at Newcastle, he would have gone ahead to come in through and really compete with them. But I think if he goes to Liverpool, Isak will take some time to obviously sink into that team, you know. And if he stays at Newcastle, I don't think that the team will trust him early enough to obviously get in there. Even if he gets into the team immediately after the transfer window comes to an end, will his head be at Newcastle? That is the huge question that we need an answer for. Then Godfrey says, good morning, Mr. Rokani. Man United fans were laughing at Gyokeres that he is a flop, but he has scored. Now, I support Man United, but I know what football is all about. Man United fans should be having some good and clear examples. In the debut season of Rasmus Højlund, it took him close to 10 games to score his first goal. But in the Champions League, he was firing. The Premier League was not firing. And Man United is not like Arsenal. Arsenal's system is built to obviously create chances, and they create huge volumes of chances for their number 9. And for whoever was really laughing at Gyokeres, he was just ridiculing himself because it was just a moment of time for Viktor Gyokeres to obviously get into that scoring mode. That is it. Sifa Bako, it was a massive one as expected. Viktor scoring, right? I want more minutes for Dauman. That boy was alright, but I think that his minutes will obviously increase on with time. And I know that with Arsenal playing into the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, I think this is where he'll obviously get in more minutes for the club of Arsenal. And with the injuries of Odegaard and Bukayo Saka, I think the lad will get in more minutes. He's really special, but you have to introduce him slowly by slowly. You shouldn't get him on in games of pressure. He should come in through in games like these ones where you understand that he can fully express himself on the ball without any pressure. That's how you can build him and build his confidence. But he's gonna be that lad. And I told you what happened at Arsenal the previous season. They lost Chido Obi Martin to Manchester United, Aiden Heaven to Manchester United, Koza Dubry to Brighton. I think Samuel Walters also went ahead to leave. Hutchinson left for the same reason. Arsenal had built an academy, and if at all those players had stayed, I tell you, Arsenal would have gone ahead to be something different. Imagine if Chido Obi Martin was here, Koza Dubry was here, Aiden Heaven was here, you understand, Hutchinson was here. I tell you, those 4-5 players would have gone ahead to obviously help Arsenal a lot, especially in what we call the home-based players. 2, in beefing up their box. You understand? And thirdly, if those players had signed senior contracts, and Arsenal would have gone ahead to loan them elsewhere if at all there was no playing time, right? And they would have gone ahead to impress, and they would have gone to bring in some huge money. For example, Hutchinson, he has crossed from the side of Ipswich Town to the side of Nottingham for close to £35 million. That would have gone ahead to be some good amount of money for Arsenal. And by the way, Chelsea is really earning a lot from the transfer of this lad, you understand? Then Chido Obi Martin, Aiden Heaven, if they were loaned outside there and really performed well, because they are gonna shine, Arsenal would have gone ahead to call in close to £100 million of pure profit. So they are trying to really do exactly what they did last season. Last season, Arsenal went ahead to really put in a very huge shift, and they really gave Lewis Kelly a lot of minutes, and they also gave in a player known as Ethan Nwaneri a lot of minutes. And now, on that double, of the Hell End Academy graduates that really thrived last season, they've gone ahead to add on another one to make it a trio Hell End graduate list. That is Max Dorman, and by far he's looking good. Kaka Pato Rokani, you said it's all 5-star performance. Congratulations, Liverpool. Albert Pato Paida, thank you. Then Ceci Sulaiman, good evening, Aradi. Arsenal needed to win that stroke. All right, I'm not okay with the left wing. With Ebelechi Eze arriving, you saw him being unveiled at the Emirates. What else what are you really worried about? Ebelechi Eze will engineer on the left. That is it. And even Trossard, you saw to it that when they took off is it Bukayo Saka? I think Trossard came in through, and you saw what he could obviously do on the ball. I told you, Martinelli is not in the equation. I really don't think that he's a lad that you're obviously going to be really needing a lot. And if I told him Arsenal, I would sell him immediately. That is it. Dida Clement, thank you, bro, for the updates. Moses Henry just arrived Good morning, my brother. Good morning. Hero from LA, thank you for hanging through. One of my mates that always keeps in here, and she's really that supportive person on this channel. Thank you for joining the queue of the hugely supportive members of the Rokani Media Football. And I know I've gone ahead to come in late, and we're really having 50 people watching in live. Imagine if I came in early, those are numbers that would have gone ahead to hit hugely. Moses Henry, hey, predict for us top 4-3, where do you see City ending? I still insist. Arsenal, as I told you, 4th position, Liverpool. 3rd position, Chelsea. 2nd position, City. 1st position, Arsenal. And I still think it's Arsenal and Man City that are obviously going to be tussling out for this league. That's what I said, and I don't change. I'm not changing, Kenneth Aruna, good work done by the Gunners, but we are still yet to see the best. Yeah, it was not the best display of football that you would expect from the Gunners, but they really went ahead to see it that all goes on as planned. Moses says, tell us your expectations at Anfield. I think it's too early to obviously throw in those expectations because I see a lot of people really not putting in the shift that is really well required. The injuries are in there. We have to wait and see Liverpool play tomorrow and see how they will look in there, because that game they're really going to be playing will obviously paint a very huge picture on how they will look in the game of Arsenal. For Arsenal, they've shown us that their guy is going to obviously get unlocked, and obviously he is really one of those that is going to put in a very huge shift altogether. There comes in Liverpool. Is going to be playing. Liverpool is playing on Monday. They're going to be playing away at Newcastle. So we need to know what is going to be gotten out from that game of Liverpool. You understand? So we can't come out and really make predictions right now. So I think after Liverpool plays, we need to know what's all about Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. Are they really going to be returning early enough? Because if you're not having Saka and Odegaard and you're going to Anfield, that also changes the narrative. So we need to get the physio report from the scan and the diagnosis from the doctors on how these teams are obviously going to be featuring. Highlights on Monday, football Newcastle. Can I really do that? I'm going to be doing that match preview. That is tomorrow. I'm really going to be doing it. I promise, Henry Moses. I'll do it like I did that of City and Tottenham Hotspur. Hero says, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Moses says, the struggle of Arsenal will end after Man City game. I don't think so. It's still on. This is a marathon, and you cannot judge this season on the Man City game, because the City game that you're talking about is really close. I think it's among that first 10 games, but all what Arsenal has to do is to collect those 3 points immediately. How would you rate Arsenal squad now? Obviously, the squad is full, but I know the injury duration of Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka will impact on whether they obviously get the market again aggressively or not. But all in all, they're really looking good in that squad. You saw Noni Madueke off the left. He's not really comfortable, but when he played on the right, he really looked good. But even Eze is in, meaning that even if Odegaard and Saka are really injured, you can have Eze on the left, have Noni Madueke on the right, and Ethan Nwaneri through the center. You understand? Then I'm having Abubakar says, did you get any information about Saka and Odegaard injury? Guys, let me tell you, for the shoulder injury, if it's really serious, it's going to keep him out for some good months. You remember when, you remember that Champions League finale where I think it was, we are going to play the World Cup of 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Salah got his shoulder twisted by Sergio Ramos, and that was in May, and it took Salah close to 2 months to return. You understand? And I think he was really hurried back because Salah wanted to play in the World Cup, and I think he played the 3rd game of the group stages of Egypt. So I want to let you know that if Odegaard is out for 2 months, and for Saka, we need to obviously get to know what is exactly wrong with him. then Arsenal obviously have to go ahead and really bring in one. And this really takes us to the question, give us a clue about Rodrigo. Rodrigo looks like he's going to have to understand that he doesn't have any space at a club known as Real Madrid. And Arsenal might obviously come in for him. Arsenal, City, Liverpool are the ideal destinations for the player. Nathaniel, he's from Belgium. Good night, great win, thank you. Hope not bad injured for Saka and Odegaard. We wait and see what the diagnosis will obviously say, because they cannot diagnose these players today and they give you a report immediately. They have to take some time, like 2 to 3 days, and we'll obviously be getting the news of the injury blows and how long they'll obviously take to obviously get back in action. Moses says, if you don't mind, read for us the midfield of Liverpool and Arsenal. The midfield of Liverpool and Arsenal, I've always said this, and I'm repeating myself if at all you haven't obviously gone ahead to hear this. Arsenal has the best midfield in the Premier League, and that is followed up by Man City's midfield. If Rodri is there, and you're really having Reinders and Bernardo Silva, that midfield is gonna cause problems to very many teams. I know people will be there like Rokani. Chelsea has good players. Yeah, they have a Caicedo, they have a Lavia, they have a Carl Palmer. They do have an Enzo Fernandez into the mix. But I tell you, you've gonna hate to see how Zubimendi has gonna hate to look today. You understand? He has been one of the best ball passers. He has won interceptions and dribbles. And Declan Rice has gone to do the needful. Odegaard. So, it's all about time. How many days to the game of Liverpool versus Arsenal? You let me know who will win the midfield battle. Liverpool still has Gravenberch, good player. They do have McAllister. They do have Sobasilai. Good players, and their midfield is also ranked highly. But I think Arsenal really has a very good midfield because it is just trying to form. But when they obviously start reading themselves well like a book, it will be a different story altogether. That is it. Which other question? Where do you see Martinelli? Guys, I would sell Martinelli and bring in Rodrigo. That is it. If I'm Arsenal, I would sell Martinelli and bring in Rodrigo. That is it. I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but for me, I would 100% sell Martinelli and get in a player known as Rodrigo at a club known as Arsenal. Then, Mascom says from Kigali, for me, the most exciting thing is that Arteta was brave enough to hand youngsters a chance. He couldn't do this last season. I really understand. But he did it last season. He gave minutes to Ethan Nwaneri in hugely competitive games. He also gave minutes to Lewis Kelly in hugely competitive games. And I like the way he's really using them because he is not doing things that will frustrate their career. You understand? He's doing things that will obviously do the needful and really support these people to the fullest. Lastly, Kendra, Daron, Rokani, I agree with you. Everything you have been saying about Gyokeres, you're a real analyst. Yeah, it's all about time. And if at all you see anyone ridiculing a player who hasn't even gone ahead to play 10 games in a club's shirt, you understand? Then just get to know that person is really biased and deluded. Because for me, I've been watching football for some long time. City has gone ahead to see very many players flop there. The Grealishes of this world, you can talk about Leroy Sane, but they've been given close to 4 seasons and they haven't gone ahead to work out. Now, how would you come and judge a player known as Viktor Gyokeres, who has just gone ahead to play 2 competitive games for the club of Arsenal? He had played 1 and you guys looked like he's not obviously going to work, he's going to flop. And I was like, do you know the magnitude of the game that the lad got his Premier League debut on? And I said this, that if you're Viktor Gyokeres, you wouldn't like to see your team, or you wouldn't like your debut to be against Manchester United, moreover, away at Old Trafford. If it was at the stadium called Emirates. It's better because, you really have an advantage. You'll obviously create more chances. But at Old Trafford, you really have no chance. You understand? And you haven't gone ahead, obviously, see your team formulate to the fullest. Then, what really sends you a message that the player had to hit the ground running instantly? And I told you when I was doing the match preview for Arsenal versus Leeds that this is the game that Viktor Gyokeres will obviously have to score. And he really went ahead to do that. And you saw how easily he beat those defenders into the first goal he scores of the game. And that goes ahead to silence all people that really came in through and said, this is not the Portuguese league. Defenders won't obviously give you space and chances to obviously operate. Now, who did he just go ahead to skip past? Aren't they Premier League defenders? You get? People are trying to paint an image that all Premier League defenders like Matthias de Ligt. Matthias de Ligt is an experienced defender and he has been facing the toughest forwards in the world, and he was not at any one point threatened of this guy because he was at Ajax and he faced the worst. Did you know that he faced Cristiano Ronaldo? He faced the Di Marias of this world. You remember that Madrid team that was knocked out? It really had a lot of good players, in the forward section. So Karim Benzema, he faced those. He went ahead to face Son Heung-min, Harry Kane into the mix, So I want to let you know. I think he faced Ronaldo when he was at Juventus, right? And also faced Real Madrid in there with the likes of Karim Benzema, the Luka Modric of this world. He has been facing very many players that have been good. So there is no way he's obviously going to get afraid. That he gets afraid about facing those players? No way. And everyone rates the Premier League defenders at a level of Matthias de Ligt, Saliba, Ruben Diaz. No, not all defenders in the Premier League are like that guy. That's where people get it wrong. They are not like him. They are not like him. Please don't really act like you are really a fan. Sometimes we need to obviously open up our different room in our brain, knowing that let's obviously be objective. You understand? But Gyokeres is a real deal, and he's obviously going to skip past more defenders in the Premier League. And I don't know what people are really going to say. Will they eat their words? Where will they really take those words? Will they eat them back? We wait. But I tell you, the guy is here to obviously threaten and humiliate every forward line. And by the way, to become a top scorer of the Premier League, you don't need to score against Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and any other clubs. The clubs you need to humiliate are Leeds, Sunderland, Brighton, Newcastle, Swansea, Fulham, West Ham. Such teams are the ones you're supposed to humiliate and obviously get your goals in. You can't obviously score very many goals against Man United, Man City. You're not guaranteed. There is no guarantee that even Gyokeres will score against Liverpool. But all in all, he has gone ahead obviously get his first 2 goals against Leeds. So he is really a special player. Henry Moses says, what is special with having very many English players in the team? You need to be having 8 homegrown players into your squad. And most of those are supposed to be English, others from the academy. So, way back, Arsenal used to play without English players. There is a team that Arsene Wenger went ahead to name when it's having close to 9 French players. I remember that team that really had Paul Sigan. It had Thierry Henry. It had Perez, Sylvain Viltord. Which other player that was really French in there for you? I've forgotten those French players. Emmanuel Petit was there. There is a moment he named close to 7-8 players that were really French, and he never named a single English player. You understand? But there are some other youngsters that were really homegrown players in there. But it's not that special, but the league has that rule. 8 players, you understand? But there is no law that you break if at all you don't start any English player. You understand? They just have to be part of the squad. Kenneth Anuna. For me, I like the way Arteta is rotating his players so that no one can feel comfortable. Every player is trying to do his best so that he can not be dropped to the bench. Okay, that is it. And he's been rotating them very well, and it will obviously yield results for the club of Arsenal. Monen from Belgium. For me, Timber, man of the match. Happy for Gyokeres and a great game from the youngsters. All right. I'm going to be recording the video of the player ratings, and I'm obviously going to be dropping it next after this live. And then you will obviously tell me there. But I also have my man of the match. That is it. Kenneth Anuna, trust me, bro. Arsenal is cooking, and we will contribute to see the best of Arsenal after 10. We'll continue to see the best of Arsenal after 10 Premier League games. Obviously, Arsenal is pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And the moment Arsenal keeps on top of the table, pressure won't mount on them a lot because people will be like, all right, that's what they're supposed to do. Having gone ahead to end the 3 previous seasons as first runners up, this season they have to win. But the moment they really drop in the first position, you know, it will really accumulate more pressure. Lastly, tomorrow, I'll be out to support your team. See my man Benjamin Sesko, whom you stole from us from the Gunners. The Gunners really never wanted him. We never stole the player because you really had the first chance to obviously sign him, and you picked Gyokeres over Benjamin Sesko. A decision that you guys will never regret because he's a very good player. You know, he's a very good player. I'm talking about Benjamin Sesko. Now today, we had games of football. On Friday, West Ham was beaten by Chelsea 5-1. Man City has been beaten 2-0. Today, Bournemouth 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Burnley 2, Sunderland 0, Brentford 1, Aston Villa 0. Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously get a 5-goal win against Leeds United. And we are really having 3 games left, meaning that 7 games are going to be played. Now, tomorrow, Sunday, 16 hours, Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. Everton versus Brighton. That is it. You understand? Everton is going to be taking on Brighton. United will be taking on Fulham at the Craven Cottage at 18:30 hours. That's how things will obviously pan out into the mix. And on Monday, Newcastle takes on Liverpool at the Anfield Stadium. Another highly anticipated game that Moses wants me to do a preview for, and I will do it in full swing come the day of Sunday. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. It has been nice having you onto this channel. I came in late because I slept off, you know, and I just woke up to really doing this live video. I was like, should I do it in the morning? I was like, no need. I have to obviously come and really address my fans, my supporters, my subscribers, and all those that haven't gone ahead with subscribe to this channel. But get to know, we are really going for 28,000 subscribers, right? And we hit 27,000 subscribers. That is last or this week, and we are waiting for more and more and more and more and more and more to come in through. So for those that haven't gone ahead to subscribe, please do subscribe, because you see we're really improving on a lot, and I think you are really getting impressed every other day that really passes by. So the side of Arsenal, the side of Rokani Media Football now has 27,048 subscribers, and we are left with 52 subscribers to hit 27,100. You understand? So go into the lower right bottom corner, smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this beautiful channel of ours, that you guys have seen it grow from 1 subscriber to 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, and now we want to hit 30,000. And I know a lot is obviously going to be happening. That's why I always tell you, turn your notification bells on. Why should you turn your notification bells on? Because every time we go live, you guys get in the best of the best that you deserve. Not so? So guys, what else haven't I talked about? I've talked about everything. I think the reaction from Mikel Arteta, Gyokeres' speech after really scoring those goals, a lot is obviously going to be dropping onto what we call the video section, not the live section. The live section, we'll have one more live before I obviously do the needful tomorrow, because my artist is having a show, and I think we'll leave this side at around 4 p.m. But before 4 p.m., I'll make sure I've gone ahead to drop a good number of videos for you to see to it that by the time I return around 8 p.m., you guys will be sorted fully and you'll be hugely waiting in for more content in there. Monen says good night and happy Sunday, everyone. Obviously, it's good talking to you, and I'm continuing to the United Matters channel, talking strictly Manchester United. Big game, United versus Fulham. That's where we are gonna be. Remember, this channel only doesn't do Man United content. We can talk about other clubs like Man City, Chelsea, you name it, but we aren't doing content of Manchester United. We only do content of Manchester United at the United Matters channel. Thank you guys for watching in through. It has been nice, and I really liked the interaction, and I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation for this game of Arsenal 5, Leeds 0. We out. See you later, my mates, and good night to those going to bed, and good morning to everyone